Oh man, what a grind. But the Helldivers have successfully completed the latest major order. Oil has been spilled, bots have been melted, those medals have arrived, and my head is still spinning from all the ragdolls and general insanity that is bots on Helldive difficulty. Welcome to the channel. This is LtBuzzLitebeer, and we need to circle back around to that major order because we've got some developments that have come from our victory. We've got a new poll, some community suggestions, that inevitable Xbox question, and Sony may have just made another boo-boo, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks again for your awesome and continued support. If you haven't done so already, take a moment to hit subscribe. It's free and it really helps out the channel. And while you're here, ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. And here we dive yet again into all the madness with Helldivers. First things first, this is my first upload using the new command center here, and I'm still working out the logistics such as soundproofing, so if you hear a bit of an echo, I'm sorry and I'm working on it. Alright, to the Superstore we go, and this is a 2-day reset, starting off with the B-24 Enforcer Hybrid Medium Heavy Body Armor with Fortified, and don't sleep on explosive resistance. Of course, you've got the matching Stormtrooper Buckethead B-24 Enforcer helmet, the CE-74 Breaker helmet, and the CE-74 Lightweight Breaker body armor with engineering kit for all you Helldiver junkies who love to throw things like grenades and knives. And on a quick side note, I'm really looking forward to the day when we get some new armor shaders or even full customization for reasons. Alright, so when you log in today, you're going to be met with the major order completed screen and of course your medals. Congrats, by the way, Helldivers. We actually finished up a bot major order that was spread over 6 days and 4 planets, cutting a path of freedom straight into Automaton territory. Now, Helldivers HQ was quick to distribute another dispatch hot on the heels of our victory. The Automaton Dominion has been fractured by the mighty assault rifle of freedom, and whoever writes these things deserves a raise because they're always just such a good read. Thanks to the courage and obedience of the Helldivers, a large swath of automaton-held planets are cut off from Cyberstan, disrupting their supplies and communications. This will significantly impact the defenses on those planets, and it will take the automatons time to recover. Until then, and so long as the barrier holds, the cut-off planets are vulnerable to our just liberation. Overall, awesome job here, and huge GGs to any divers that took part in this one. It was a slog, especially on Helldive difficulty, which we're going to get into in a moment, but now over to a bit of hidden effect from our victory. And it may not be what you really want to hear, more missions in bot territory, but just hear me out. Since we cut that freedom path through their territory, many of the connected planets have now had their negative modifiers reduced to 0. Now, you've heard me talk about this in many of my previous uploads, but anytime we can get planets with close to 0 modifiers, it means we produce more results with less divers. And right now, Charon Prime, Vega Bay, Charball 7, and Vandalon 4 are all sitting at a 0 modifier. And hopefully I didn't butcher all those names, but we could potentially get a jump on even more bot planets right now, although after a 6-day major order, and with some of the high difficulty bot spawning issues, I can totally understand wanting to take a break. And since I get questions about it in all my uploads, this site you're looking at right now is helldiverscompanion.com, and I always include a link to it in the video description and pinned comments. And speaking of comments, man, it's like I planned that smooth transition there, which, by the way, I did not, but Shams Georgiani, Arrowhead's CEO, has been taking some flack over on social media when he decided to take on some community issues and responses, and it looks like some good might actually come out of this one. Now, all of this surrounds the broken spawn rates theory, automatons, difficulty 8s and 9s, and it all kind of meets and swirls together in this crossroads of discussions. Now, I honestly don't know what it could be, but There's some over-the-top insanity when taking on bots at these difficulties in a full squad, to which this Twitter post kind of lays into. The main issue with level 9 bots isn't the crazy spawn rates. There is simply nothing to hide in or around. A lot of these bot planets are wide open fields where the Devastators pin you to the ground. Or better yet, I get half across said field and one shot by a laser I can't see. My personal favorite, shot by an enemy and pulled towards them. Can't be hard for the devs to add small bunkers or sandbags, rocks, and trees break up these wide open spaces. To which Georgiani responded, "What I'm hearing is make bots more fun," which I think is his way of trying to keep it light but acknowledging that the message has been received. I don't know, it's hard to read text and understand the exact context, but at this point the OP responds back. "No, I actually like playing the bots. I want fairness. Devastators have an endless barrage of rockets. I, on the other hand, have to wait 3 minutes to call in another orbital barrage. I'm asking for cover in these open map systems, a way to play more strategic and creative." I would also add in that heavy devs have insane range, crazy fire rates, insane accuracy, and they never need to reload, plus they can absorb a ton of damage, and they spawn in just like everywhere. Finally, Georgiani responds again with, "A way to play more strategic and creative. This sounds like a great ask." We're not done with this topic yet, and I know there's a million angles that can be presented as to what makes the bots a pain in the ass to deal with. Things like heavy dev concentrations, constantly getting ragdolled from point to point, how fast reinforcements and dropships arrive on the scene, the fact that we're dealing with gunships every minute or so, or we could even talk about the absolute absurd fire rate the bots can bring down on your positions. I mean, we've been at Extraction and had 20 to 30 heavy devs, swarms of rocket devs, 2 factory striders or even more, plus now a whole fleet of gunships, all obliterating a small plot of land we're supposed to defend at Extraction, and it's nearly devoid of cover. You can't hide. What cover you can get behind, you get blown out of due to the splash damage. And again, you just get ragdolled from here to there, all while attempting to pop a stem and ride out that extraction timer. Now, I totally understand why some players just won't take on the bots, period, and they permanently stay over in Bugsville. Personally, I like the challenge, and I think the addition of cover and a bit of a tuning pass on the heavy rocket dev concentrations would go a long way to getting bots on 8s and 9s into a better zone for players to enjoy. Eagles or Orbitals? That is the question. Baskinator posted another community poll over in the official Helldiver Discord asking this question, and I will say, although you can't see how the poll is currently trending unless you vote, it is heavily in favor of one of these choices. And also according to B Vitamin, part of the Arrowhead support team, these polls are apparently just for fun, as one concerned member actually asked if this meant that Eagles were getting nerfed. Yeah, right now when the bulk of the team is on summer break would not be the ideal time to start dropping in nerfs based on a community poll, so I don't see that happening. But what I would love to see happen is exactly shown in this Reddit post, and by the way, this thing has a ton of upvotes. It says, "When I shoot down one of these, everything inside it should die." And amen to this one. It gets crazy when you whip out that quasar cannon, you take the time to charge it up, you blast an engine, and it comes crashing down to the planet, only to see this swarm of bots it was carrying just come walking out of the wreckage and fire like a T-1000 from the Terminator movies. Let me know if you want to see this mechanic installed into the game by dropping me a comment. Probably a slam dunk question as well as this one, also listed over on Reddit. It says, "Sief artillery should show currently loaded shell." And I may be wrong about this one because, the game is just constantly changing, but I thought we had this, or at least something like this in the past, where it showed the first shell that was loaded and it was displayed up in the stratagem area. But again, if memory serves me correctly, there was no ability to take it past the first shell loaded because apparently that area is static. Would I love to see this added into the game? Absolutely. The Sief is a strong tool, but if you don't know what shell is coming down on what target area, it could be entirely ineffective. like the dropship post, let me know if you want to see this added into the game. Is Helldivers going green? That's the question, right? Now, we've been seeing rumors about Helldivers coming to Xbox for months now, and it's recently again making the rounds, and huge thanks to Lewis for tagging me into this one again over on Twitter, as Xbox News apparently has a link set up for Helldivers 2 that leads to nowhere. There's also unconfirmed reports from various podcasts that they heard from their sources that it's happening by the end of July, and all I can say is yes. No, I'm not confirming the stories because I know as much or as little as you do, but I am saying yes to getting Xbox on board with our favorite democracy spreading shooter. Bringing that entire player base potentially into the Diver Brotherhood would be epic. And what's also interesting about all of this is that the edition is wanted by PC players and it's wanted by PlayStation players, and we all just want to make this happen. Now, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were, I'd say that whatever is rumored to happen by the end of July is looking like it has a strong possibility of happening. And fingers crossed on this one. Sony screwed up again. Not much of a revelation there because they still haven't brought those 170 countries and regions back into the picture yet, which is the perfect example of how to take a massive L. And I don't know if I should warn everyone that this might be a leak coming up. I don't think it is because there's no real artwork here, but just in case you want to turn around, don't pay attention to this, or if you just want to keep watching, the Freedom's Flame Premium Warbond may have just been inadvertently shown on, of all places, the Sony store. The description says it includes fiery weapons, life-saving armor, cool capes, fresh emotes, player cards, and patterns. Now, full stop. They had me at fiery weapons and hopefully, maybe again, fingers crossed here, fire-resistant armor, although it doesn't say that specifically. Still, this display shows under Viper Commandos, so we know that's incorrect, but the other items listed here are all new. Still no word on when the new Warbond will be hitting the market, by the way, but I personally don't see this dropping before the end of July. And with that, we've hit a great place to press pause for today. Make sure to leave me any Helldiver feedback in the comments section, and I will do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. A massive shout out to the now over 234,000 of you legends from around the world that have taken the plunge, hit subscribe, and tune in to support me and my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.